Hey y'all, welcome back. This is part 9 of JFK Jr.'s George Magazine February 1997 edition, A Survival Guide to the Future. I'll be reading the third of 3 articles on the future crisis, Social Security. Many happy returns. Social Security has served our nation well since its 1935 creation. Our economy has survived 9 post-World War II recessions, none of which turned into a depression. In each economic endurance test, the Social Security system has helped buffer against greater losses. Every American is a stakeholder in the program, and any concerned stakeholder can find reason to worry about its financial stability. Members of the Advisory Council on Social Security have just prepared options for the program's survival. They all agree that the equity markets are a potentially promising place to invest part of the money that the system collects. Some people may think of such investing as a gamble. On any given day, with any given purchase, you take a risk. But the goal is to invest by diversifying your investments and by focusing on long-term earnings rather than short-term winnings. Over a worker's lifetime, equity investments make sense. With every paycheck, citizens pay 6.2% of their earnings into the Social Security Trust Fund, and their employers contribute a matching fund, for a total of 12.4% deposited per individual. The government only taxes individuals on the first $65,400 of their income. That national fund, now $566 billion, is invested in special issue treasury bonds, which have provided a modest long-term return. But baby boomers are approaching eligibility age for retirement checks and will inevitably need more available cash. By the year 2012, Social Security will begin to run annual deficits, which will increase rapidly. As this cash flow problem becomes more and more evident, the debate about what to do is intensifying. Public funds in private markets. This option would keep 60% in special issue bonds and have the government invest the other 40% in stock index funds. The benefits. Higher returns could come from equity investing through a government entity potentially accountable to the public. It would try to make the Social Security reserve grow at the same rate as the overall market. Concerns. Who in the government would choose the stocks? Should they pick only blue chip concerns? Only socially responsible companies? How would the government vote its proxies on the public's behalf? If only Standard & Poor's 500 corporations are chosen, wouldn't that be unfair to the 501st? Not to mention the many thousands of smaller deserving companies? Mandatory savings accounts. The other 2 options advocated by the Advisory Council would put some of the Social Security tax taken from your paycheck into an individual investment account. Deposits could amount to 2 to 5% of the total 12.4% of a person's income collected in the fund. Account holders would be required to invest their allotted funds within a range of government-approved investment pools. Access to the account would be denied until retirement. Benefits. An infusion of capital enters the markets through a decentralized process through the personal choices of ordinary citizens. The options repeat the success of individual retirement accounts, IRAs, which can create higher returns through diversified holdings. Plus, citizens get a sense of participation in the process. Concerns. Won't Americans be given both the freedom to choose and the opportunity to fail? How will they be educated to make wise investments for this savings account? If they aren't educated about the ups and downs of the market, how will they respond if the value of this savings account decreases? A new alternative. There would be 2 tiers of benefits. Everyone would contribute to Tier 1 and receive a basic benefit, or safety net, provided by the government. This would be financed by 10.4% of the Social Security tax. For Tier 2, Americans would have a choice either to invest the other 2% of their Social Security tax in a personal security account and generate their own supplemental retirement benefit, or keep the 2% in the system and receive the government's version of a Tier 2 benefit. Benefits. It preserves the social insurance feature of the system, a basic safety net. Investment-minded Americans get a chance to boost the returns on a portion of their contributions, while allowing a standard benefit package for those less inclined to invest. Concerns. Will people have enough information to make intelligent choices? Will the administrative costs of such a two-tier structure be much higher than the costs of the existing system? Understanding equities is the average American's main task as all these plans evolve. With a small portion of their late-in-life security likely to be tied up in stocks, Americans need to clarify in their minds what the stock market really is. Owning a stock certificate is not like owning a lottery ticket, with its two possible outcomes of winning big or losing what you put up. Stock market gains, judged annually, can seem modest. Corporate profits have grown 9.3% per year over the last 50 years. At that rate, money doubles every 8 years. If you leave your initial investment untouched, it would grow sixfold in 24 years. Don't forget that increasing share prices is only one way for the investment to pay off. Dividends reward shareholders on a smaller but still substantial scale, which makes investments grow even more rapidly. The value just doesn't change in the way commodities, such as copper or corn, fluctuate. That growth rate depends on the health of the corporate sector. Behind every stock, there's not a static commodity but a flexible company, subject to all the troubles and triumphs its leaders and employees bring to it. If a portion of Social Security is invested in the equity markets, there will be broader benefits to the whole economy. More equity investment means more efficient equipment and therefore higher productivity, more jobs, and higher standard of living. During the entire decade of the 1990s, the U.S. will generate 15 to 17 million jobs, while the European Union will have a decline in its number of jobs. Why? Because more than 3,000 companies went public during the last 5 years in the U.S., as compared to fewer than 125 companies in the European Union. In that same period, new publicly traded U.S. companies generated $150 billion, and moreover, newly issued shares from existing companies generated twice the amount, or roughly $300 billion. Investors' commitment to equity markets makes small companies start up and medium companies grow. That's how some of our newest corporations, Staples, Compaq, and Amgen, have become some of our largest within a couple of decades. That's also how other startups like MCI and FedEx have forced the phone company and the post office to provide significantly better products and customer service. All in all, the average citizen would get 2 boosts from having a portion of the Social Security tax enter the equity world. First, retirement nest eggs would grow faster. Second, the equity capital would increase our nation's productivity and would help to reduce business costs. In such a better world, companies would have the chance to lower prices for customers and bestow raises on employees. Here's some interesting facts included in this article. In 1935, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signs the Social Security Act to cover citizens who are too old to earn a paycheck. In 1939, benefits are extended to cover survivors and dependents. 1956, benefits are extended to cover workers ages 50 to 64 who are permanently and totally disabled, as well as adult children of disabled or retired workers, if the worker was disabled before age 18. 1972, the Supplemental Security Income System, known as SSI, is created to provide means-tested help for the elderly and disabled poor. Also, benefits are adjusted for future rises in the cost of living. 1994, Clinton creates a council to advise how to prevent insolvency. 2020, looking at the future here, the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to hit its highest balance, $2.8 trillion, under the current funding mechanisms. 2029, the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to be $208 billion in debt in order to cover the last of the baby boomers. Larger deficits or smaller benefits packages are the only remaining options after this point. So what do you think about the Social Security situation? Are we headed in the right direction? Are we headed in the wrong direction? Are you fearful? Let me know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Click the bell for notifications. And as always, may God bless you and your families. Thanks.